This presentation was created for pre-service teachers to explore the educational possibilities of field trip to the Australian National Maritime Museum as part of our HSIE unit. This presentation will discuss the AURA First People exhibition links to syllabus outcomes, teaching suggestions and theories, and the creation of a learning object. This is aimed at Stage 3 primary school students. As a group, we met on a number of occasions and communicated via our Western Sydney University emails, Facebook and text messaging from our mobiles. We all understood one another in terms of not being able to come on certain days because of work commitments and so forth. All in all, we all worked as a team and listened to one another's ideas and respected one another's opinions. The Australian Maritime Museum is located in Darling Harbour, Sydney. The museum has a lot of significance as it is related to Australia's history as a whole, particularly Indigenous history, focusing their connection to Australia's past. It holds a lot of connections, exhibitions and research in Australian history. The Maritime Collections details Indigenous Australians' deep connection to the sea, early exploration and immigration. Our focus was directed towards the Indigenous Australians exhibition. The museum provides local and international tourists an opportunity to connect to Australia's maritime past and present in an inventive way, such as the public can touch screens and iPads and read what interests them. Before visiting the site, we consulted the museum website to research the exhibition and relevant curriculum references. The website also provided a school work health and safety risk management plan. This included details of emergency evacuation procedures, storage and transport, falling overboard, accessibility, wharf safety and teachers' responsibilities. Strict student-to-teacher ratios were enforced by the museum. We researched their current school excursion programs, which helped us prepare for our visit. This experience will help us plan for future site visits when we are teachers. The topic from the New South Wales history syllabus is related to Australia as a nation. The Indigenous History exhibition is related to these syllabus outcomes from the New South Wales syllabus HSIE. Describes and explains the struggles for rights and freedoms in Australia, including Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, applies a variety of skills of historical inquiry and communication. We also made links to the Geography syllabus, A Diverse and Connected World, addressing children, investigating cultural diversity and examined items of cultural significance at the Maritime Museum. Finally, the cross-curriculum priorities relates to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures.
During our visit to the museum, we identified particular aspects of the Aurora First People exhibit that could be used for teaching HSIE in the classroom. Interactive workstations allowed children to test their recently gained knowledge. Audio recordings of Indigenous elders provided children with stimulating explanations of the artworks and traditional artefacts. The centrepiece of the exhibit was a handcrafted canoe. It was made by Aboriginal students, which highlights their unique traditional skills and craftsmanship passed down through generations. Visiting school children would resonate with the canoe as they would be able to be inspired by the unique skills of children their own age, creating functional and traditional artwork. These aspects of the exhibition prompted us to develop a learning object which would explore where these Indigenous children are now and how they continued to contribute to Australian society.
Our teaching suggestions were composed based on the constructivism theory. This theory recognizes the importance of giving students the opportunity to construct their knowledge, skills and understanding and apply them in meaningful contexts. There are a number of learning methods that were built on this school of thought. They all agree that teachers should play a facilitative role in children's learning instead of being a mere provider of information. This video will focus on the use of the COASA method and inquiry-based learning in designing various learning activities. We should start by identifying students' prior knowledge. Next, we can arouse their curiosity, for example, by showing them a glimpse of a learning artifact shown in the exhibition. During the site visit, students can inspect and learn more about the objects that catch their attention. Students then work in groups to organize the information they have collected and put them into appropriate categories. The next stage is analyzing the information they have gathered. The teacher can facilitate the discussion, for example, by asking students to consider the intentions of artists in creating various artifacts. Can they find any commonalities in the materials and color used by the artists? To assess students' ability to synthesize information, the teacher can offer students to use multiple means of communication. So students can use a video to record the work and contribution of their chosen artist. Students should then have the opportunity to apply the knowledge they have gained. For example, they can be asked to create advertising materials based on the exhibition they went to. The teacher can customize the level of support provided to the students by assessing their skills, attitude, and teamwork demonstrated throughout the process. Students can then evaluate and reflect on what they have learned by revisiting the chart they created earlier, presenting their work to other students, and reflecting on the feedback received from others.
In developing our learning object, we wanted to create a fun and meaningful project that would link together syllabus content and outcomes, knowledge learnt from the exhibition, and develop the students' technological skills. From the site, students had gained an understanding of Indigenous culture and history. We wanted to move past stereotypical representations and teaching of Aboriginal culture that sees Indigenous people pigeonholed as one homogenous group. We asked students what it means to be an Indigenous person today and to explore Indigenous people's contribution to society. With an appreciation of the deep ties to the land and water, students were asked to research significant individuals, their cultural background, and their accomplishment in their personal lives. How have their lives contributed and developed Australian society? This links to the Stage 3 History Syllabus Key Inquiry Questions under Australia as a Nation. The use of physical cultural tools, which in this case is the iPad, aids both students and teachers in making meaning of the world and was integral in designing our learning object and developing students' 21st century skill set. Students would be given a scaffolded task asking each to reflect on what they had learned at the site. After researching prominent Indigenous figures, students were asked to reflect on how these linked to the Aurora First People exhibition. For example, where did Mandaway Yunupingu come from, and what were his people known for? Were they hunters or fishermen? How did Yunupingu's lifetime achievements contribute to the educational, political and artistic advancement of Indigenous people within Australian society? Using iPads, students then filmed a short video of their findings. Once uploaded to YouTube, students pinned their videos into Goggle MyMaps. We chose Goggle MyMaps as it integrates geographical teachings of spatial awareness, effectively utilises technology in the classroom, and also deepens students' relationships with their community and understanding of the influence of the environment. Students were then able to navigate the map to learn more about other Indigenous people, thus sharing their knowledge with their peers. This learning object is based on Vygotsky's social constructivism, in that the teacher is the facilitator of learning, providing scaffolding and using cultural tools to develop cognitive function. Students may also work collaboratively in pairs or small groups to research and record their videos, which helps develop problem-solving skills and exemplifies the co-construction of knowledge. As pre-service teachers, we reflected on the value of this assignment in developing our collaborative skills, confidence, use of technology, understanding of the syllabus, and the practical application of learning pedagogies and psychological theories. As learners, we saw the importance of site visits, which provided us with a memorable learning experience. The significance of fieldwork was embodied in this assignment. We heard from Indigenous elders, touched screens to quiz ourselves, and saw precious artefacts. These engagements of our senses stand powerfully in our memories. We encourage each of you to visit the Maritime Museum and to use Goggle Maps. Each are fascinating and will be brilliant resources to draw on in our future classrooms.